Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Destiny's Princess, a war story, a love story. We are on chapter 3 with Hanbei now, titled Mirror of Madness. And the last chapter ended on a somewhat cliffhanger note as Hanbei seemed to rather menacingly ask us to come along with him, and we don't know what he wants, but he seemed kind of scary when he was asking. So let's see what he has in mind for us. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Hanbei, where are you going? Hanbei tugged on my arm, pulling me down the hallway without explanation. I'm going to call for help. Hanbei, if you don't answer me, I'm going to yell for help.
If that's what you want to do, go right ahead.
Hanbei's eyes narrowed, smiling as he looked at me.
None of the servants know yet of our broken engagement.
So is he saying that they'll think my screams are throes of passion?
They'll be surprised to see you trying to escape from your supposed fiancé.
Yeah? So? It was true. They would be surprised. My fiancé and I should be very close. If Hanbei and I were fighting, everyone would be shocked and maybe become suspicious. Why would they become suspicious? Isn't it kind of normal for couples to argue?
I don't think you really want to make a scene.
Maybe I do.
You don't need to worry. I'm not going to hurt you.
Okay. He looked like he was going to hurt me. Hanbei chuckled under his breath. You think that's funny? This man was truly evil. The kindness I'd seen in him before had been a lie. He walked into an empty room and then finally let go of my hand. What on earth is going on that you have to be so violent?
Like I said, we have much to discuss.
Hanbei smiled and sat down. I think Hanbei's figured out what's going on. Or not what's going on. I think he's figured that something is going on.
First, have a seat. This will take a while.
I hesitated, but finally did as I was told and sat. What did you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, before the night you got hurt, what had I been doing and where?
I unconsciously gasped. I'd lost my memory of the 5 switched men, but there were some things I vaguely recalled. One of those things was that those men had already died, and another was how and when they passed away. Of the 5, my fiancé, whom Hanbei had replaced, had been the first to go.
It's strange, but I can't remember anything before that time.
What, so he doesn't have my fiancé's memories?
All the memories I have are of after the time you were hurt.
That made sense. Until that time, my fiancé had been dead. Well, I mean, he should be missing some time, but shouldn't you have memories before that? Oh, from that night, okay.
I was pretty upset at the time, so I didn't think it odd that I was there. But when I think back, quite a few things come to mind.
Strange things? Does he remember dying? Hanbei looked at me with a piercing gaze. I instinctively averted my eyes.
Until I got there, where had I been? Or no, not even that. Up until even a minute before, what had I been doing?
I don't know, I'm not your keeper.
All I remember is being sick in bed in the midst of war with the demons. And I remember being afraid that I would die there before we could be married. From the bottom of my heart, I was anxious about your future.
Aww. Those were all my fiancé's memories. The places where Hanbei's memories were blank were from the time when my fiancé had died. That was what he was thinking about? My fiancé, whom I could not even more remember his face or his name. He thought about me until the very end, and yet I couldn't remember him at all.
Please tell me, why can't I remember anything after that?
How should I know? Maybe I just wasn't there with him.
Just what had happened to me.
I have to tell him. It's time. I have to tell him. It didn't matter what I said. I could lie. The longer I paused, the more the seam unraveled. I could even say that he'd gotten a bad fever from being sick and probably gotten amnesia. But I found I couldn't speak. I covered my mouth. Thinking of my fiancé's last feelings was too painfully sad. Despising myself and my inability to remember, I knew I'd start crying if I tried to speak. Hanbei stared at me intently for a moment, but then suddenly crawled over to me, and then...
I'm sorry.
Once he'd spoken those words, he grabbed my collar and pulled apart my clothing. What? What are you doing so suddenly? Slap him. I immediately slapped him. Hanbei's pale cheek quickly turned red and swelled. What are you doing? I closed my collar and shouted.
I just wanted to check how your wounds were healing.
Well, you could have asked first. Hanbei smiled. I think he's lying. How rude! I don't care who you are, you can't do things like that.
Interesting. Was I not your fiancé? The man with whom you'd someday share a bed?
That doesn't mean you can put your hands all over me.
Why are you so quick to look at me as if I'm some depraved, lowly servant?
I glared at Hanbei. Make no mistake, we are no longer engaged. And weren't you the one who broke off the engagement in the first place?
You certainly didn't have any objections either. I don't recall.
Hanbei's eyes looked as sly and clever as a cat's as he grunted.
Very interesting. Until not long ago, you never would have looked at me like that. And until not long ago, I never felt this way about you either.
Felt what way? Felt what way? Without answering, Hanbei merely smiled and got to his feet. The next time he looked down at me, his face had resumed its normal, emotionless expression.
Fine. I had a lot of other things to ask you, but I think that's enough for now. It's never any use trying to talk to someone who's upset.
With those last words, Hanbei left my room. I felt all the strength leave my legs as I relaxed in relief. The next thing I knew, tears were dripping down my cheeks. As I straightened my disheveled collar, the tears came faster, wetting my face. I'm so embarrassed. To have suffered such degradation by a man I'd only just met. A man I'd normally never let come near me. I took out the dagger from its place at my chest and tapped it on the floor.
Hey. You're going to break me. I'm breaking.
Quit whining. You're perfectly fine.
How terrifying. What makes you act so cruel, princess?
This is all you and your magic's fault. Tell me right now, why did you summon that kind of man here?
By that kind of man, I assume you refer to Kanaketa Bei?
He's getting worse. Hanbei. You're really bad with names. He was like an annoying little fly in the outhouse. My anger slightly dissipated. Shouldn't I be getting more angry as he's annoying me?
I only summoned a man who I thought would be able to fulfill your wish. Why precisely this Beihan fellow came is something unknown to this little demon. However...
The dagger rattled around inside its sheath.
You should take care if the men I've summoned remember their true selves. It's possible that they may return to their old worlds.
Huh? The dagger again quivered, making sounds like a human's chuckles.
The false memories are what binds them to this world, just like the anchor of a ship. Take care. Take very good care, princess. If they desire to go back, they will be able to.
If those men return to their old worlds now, what will become of the castle? Then my wish wouldn't be granted and the demon will have not fulfilled his obligation and he should offer me another wish. And what of all the people who just barely escaped with their lives? And the vassals who worked so tirelessly for the sake of the castle and this country? It was too terrible to consider. Despite how distasteful Hanbei was, he was a keen tactician. Regrettable though it was, without his help, I wouldn't be able to save the castle. In that case, I have to keep him fooled.
Yes, exactly right. That you must.
The dagger's response was nonchalant, but I knew it wouldn't be such an easy task. It was early the next morning that Yukimura burst into my room.
Saya!
I was a little stunned by Yukimura's sudden appearance behind the flung-open door. What's going on, Yukimura? Are your wounds already healed? If you're going to visit me this early, at least give me some warning. Yeah, knock first. And isn't it only polite to at least say something before you barge in? Actually, if he'd only come moments sooner, he'd have caught me in the middle of changing clothes. Well, it's a good thing he wasn't earlier then.
There's no time to worry about that.
Yukimura plopped down heavily in front of me.
Is it true that you called off your engagement with Hanbei?
Oh, you heard?
Yes, I heard.
Yukimura slapped his knee forcefully.
When I asked, it sounded like it was Hanbei's idea. Is that true?
Yes, well, you see...
Aren't you furious? What nerve he has, rejecting my sister and the princess of this castle.
But, Yukimura, you know, with everything going on right now...
With everything going on, shouldn't a man be all the more eager to marry his beloved? If it were me, I would never do anything like this. I would...
What, you want to marry your sister? Caught up in emotion, Yukimura took my hand. When our eyes met, he quickly pulled back. He does like me, even though he thinks I'm his sister.
No, that's not what I came here to say. Anyway, you guys were getting along so well, so why...
I just told you, at a time like this, a wedding celebration just wouldn't be fitting. That's all there is to it. Yukimura peered at my face with concern.
Is that what you want? I thought you were excited about getting married.
I was, but now I'd rather we broke it off. This way I don't have to feel guilty. The mere thought of becoming that man's wife sent a shudder down my spine.
I just don't get it.
Yukimura scratched at his head.
I thought that you and Hanbei had the most perfect, enviable relationship.
Really?
Really. That twisted man was actually very kind and good to you. When I think back, it seems all the more strange. I guess people can change.
The perfect relationship he spoke of was with my real fiancé, from my real brother's memories. He couldn't help feeling something was off when also thinking of Hanbei as my fiancé now. Oh no, this isn't good. I let out the whisper without thinking. Yukimura cocked his head.
Did you say something?
No, nothing. It was then that we heard the voice from outside.
Are you in there, princess?
That voice. I could see the shadowy figure on the other side of the screen door. My body tensed up. That was the one voice I had definitely not wanted to hear right now.
What are you doing here, Hanbei?
Yukimura answered for me, not even trying to hide his distaste. The shadowed figure showed his face.
Why would you ask that? Do I need a reason to come see the princess?
After you broke up with me, yeah? I don't want to see you. You broke up with me. Jeez, he could be so brazenly impudent. I replied meanly. You have some nerve showing up here after what you did yesterday. With a smile on my lips, I glared with my eyes at Hanbei.
Oh, are you still angry about that? It saddens me that you're so angry about such innocent actions.
Quit joking around. Do you really think there's a girl in the world who wouldn't be mad?
Our engagement may be broken off, but our relationship remains. Don't be so distant. What is going on with you two? What's with the fake smiles?
Watching us interact, Yukimura shrugged.
It's like watching two spies trying to scope each other out. It's weird.
Oh, come on, Yukimura. What an odd thing to say.
Precisely. Why would you say that? Fake smiles? Us? Gulp.
As both of us turned our smiles on him, Yukimura broke out in a cold sweat. He can feel that miasma. Suddenly, Hanbei again turned expressionless and sighed.
Enough about that. Princess, I have a lot of questions for you about the demons.
The demons? I tilted my head, confused. You can ask, but I don't know if I'll be of any help.
Like I said yesterday, my memories seem to be hopelessly vague. I could really use your help to make sure of some things.
What? You too, Hanbei? For a moment, Yukimura seemed to forget his anger and unease. He clapped Hanbei on the shoulder. My memory's been awful lately too. I thought I was already getting old or something.
Huh, you too.
A light came on in Hanbei's eyes. This was bad. If I let Yukimura keep talking, he might say too much. Interrupt the conversation. Create a diversion, like what? I stepped in and interrupted the two men's conversation. What did you want to ask me about the demons?
About when and where they showed up.
Yes. Let me see. I searched through my memories of the past. Fortunately, that period didn't have much to do with the summoned men, so my memory was clearer. I can't say precisely when and where, but I think the first time I heard of the demons was a little while after the festival.
The festival?
After Hanbei repeated my words, he made a troubled face and put a hand to his forehead.
Oh, never mind, I remember. It was the festival created to celebrate a war victory, wasn't it?
Yes, our ancestors defeated our old enemy Rokaku Takayori and restored peace to the region. I learned as a kid that the festival began with a dance of thanks to the gods for our victory. That was over 100 years ago. Today the festival was enjoyed by all the people every year. Not long after that festival, strange things started happening. People started suddenly disappearing or suffering horrible deaths. That's right. At first people thought that it was bears. I nodded. Right. We thought that the bears, hungry after hibernation, were attacking people. I think it was after that the villagers started saying they spotted the demons. Yeah, at first we all thought it was just a stupid rumor. Yes, but they started coming in large armies to directly attack the castle. Only a few months after that, the country was on the verge of being destroyed. For the most part, the other countries in the area turned a blind eye. One sole neighboring land lent a helping hand, but they were no match for the demons. After that horrendous defeat, we never saw or heard from them again.
I see, after the festival.
For a while, Hanbei seemed deep in thought, but soon he nodded.
Very good.
Did that help?
Yes.
Hanbei nodded. He looked at me with the clear eyes of a seer, divining the future.
Don't you think it's a little odd, Princess?
Think what's odd?
The demons' attacks seem to be limited to only this country and part of one of our neighbors.
Hearing Hanbei say so now, I realized it was true. Kotoro's country had also been attacked, but the one to the other side of us remained safe. Well, couldn't that mean they're working their way down, going in a line? The sole time the demons had turned on another land was when they had tried to help us. Even there, the castle on the border was the only place destroyed. No demons appeared elsewhere. So we're being targeted for some reason. Somebody summoned the demons to kill us?
And another strange thing is, why are mystical creatures like demons appearing in this world? And why are they so intent on destroying this country?
Are those questions we'll ever really find the answer to? It felt like we'd accepted these events as a matter of course in a way. Since ancient times, demons had often ascended to the human earth. It was a shock to see them in the flesh, but no one thought it was particularly unbelievable. And then, if they were in our world, it was no stretch to imagine that they would attack humans. There were some people who, surprised by the demon's appearance, thought it was divine punishment. But other than that, no one had searched for a particular meaning to their coming here.
I believe that everything happens for a reason.
With that, Hanbei bowed his head.
Well, I'll be going now. See you later.
Okay, bye. Hanbei left without another word. He really is different now. Yukimura looked struck with wonder. He's got an evil heart, but as a tactician, he's a master. I stopped myself from nodding in agreement. I knew my fiancé hadn't been a bad man. Agreeing with Yukimoto disagreed with my own memories. However, he was right. As cruel as Hanbei was, he did have a knack for brilliant insights. Plus, this insightful man seemed like a different person than the one I quarreled with last night. I felt like I just met the mild-mannered, good-postured man for the first time. Yep, it's as I expected. Hanbei knows something's up, though maybe not exactly what yet. I have the feeling he'll figure it out, or figure something out sooner or later by himself, so I don't know what we can do to keep him from prematurely realizing it. Except to seduce him. Will we have to seduce him to keep him from figuring it all out? When he said yesterday that, it was the first time he felt like that about us, I had the feeling that he's starting to fall for us already. Well, since this is a dating game, I'm sure he's going to fall for us sooner or later anyway. Well, we'll see when. We haven't had a single image yet. Ugh. Alright, well anyway, I hope to see you in my future videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.